From Daniel Ricciardo's shoey to James Vowles' embarrassing bottle drop, the champagne celebration has given us many hilarious moments, but none of them came close to the iconic moment when Lewis Hamilton splashed champagne on Russian President Vladimir Putin. In this video, we will be looking back at the incident when Lewis Hamilton sprayed champagne on Putin, and the connection of the Grand Prix with champagne. So without further ado, let's begin. Hamilton was busy celebrating his win in Sochi when he caught Russian President Vladimir Putin on the podium with a bottle of champagne. Putin met the British driver in the driver's cool-down room before facing the crowd and the prying TV cameras on the podium. The atmosphere was tense, but Putin appeared to ignore the two-time world champion before realizing he was on TV and offered a celebratory handshake before addressing Sebastian Vettel and Sergio Perez, who finished second and third respectively. However, after receiving the race winner's trophy, the Brit had a warm embrace with Putin, and then sprayed him with champagne. As Putin left the podium, Hamilton dashed to splash the crowd and unintentionally caught the Russian president, champagne splashing over his suit as he walked away. 3 years later, when Hamilton won the Russian Grand Prix, he came face to face with Vladimir Putin once more. Knowing that he would be awarding the Brit with a prize for the second time, Putin decided to send him a strong warning ahead of time. Putin could be heard expressing through his interpreter that he didn't want to be drenched, as they waited to take the stage for the prize ceremonies. "I am accustomed to warning you something each year after year," his interpreter told the four-time world champion. But Hamilton seemed unfazed by Putin's warning, even claiming that he wasn't the one who soaked him at the 2016 race. Hamilton interrupted him and said, "Yeah, I won't spray you with champagne this year. Last time, it wasn't me, it was someone else." Hamilton was thrilled as he stood on the top step of the Sochi podium, having extended his championship lead to 40 points. He even followed through on his promise, allowing Putin plenty of time to walk away before popping the cork of his bottle of champagne. Formula 1 and the history of spraying champagnes. The connection of the Grand Prix with champagne itself dates back to the iconic Ford vs Ferrari showdowns. The year was 1967. Ford had beaten Ferrari the previous year in a historic and grueling 24-hour race with the GT40. Everything was flawless. Ford was gearing up to race and compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans once more, bringing their already dominant and celebrated Ford GT40 for another round on the French streets. The 1967 Le Mans was the 35th edition of the endurance race, and Ford and Carroll Shelby were hoping for another memorable race. Dan Gurney and his fellow renowned American racer, AJ Foyt, were ready to compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, held on the ever-so-beautiful yet tough Circuit de la Sarthe. After 24 hours, the Fords reached the finish line first, winning the race for the second year in a row and establishing the bar for Ford for the next 2 years. Gurney and Foyt won the grueling one-day race after leading the pack from the second hour, becoming the first and only All-American driver, car, and team to win at the Le Mans. Ferrari finished second and third, once again trailing the Fords. In fact, the entire race was dominated by the 7-liter Ford MK4. They led the entire race and triumphed by 3 laps over the remaining factory Ferrari P4, driven by Mike Parks and Ludovico Scarfiati. It was another victory for Ford, but little did they know that one of their drivers would also make another victory without realizing it. Gurney and Foyt shook everyone's hands, removed their racing suits, and walked over to the crowded podium, which had been waiting anxiously for them. The groundbreaking event was photographed by Henry Ford II, Carroll Shelby, their families, journalists, photographers, and anyone else who happened to be nearby. The New Yorker felt compelled to shake the bottle of chilled champagne, creating an exhilarating and unique atmosphere and celebration for Ford's second overall victory. Gurney didn't hesitate. He simply believed it was appropriate to shake the bottle and drench his fellow driver and squad. The Le Mans 24 Hours winner had no idea that he would become the first driver to shower champagne on the podium. Many records were set during that race, including the beginning of a tradition that was set for many years to come. Well, that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and comment below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you are new to this channel to be notified when we upload more content.